Hello, I'm Ken Carpenter, and this is Invest AI Savvy, where AI powers smart investing. Today is Thursday, May 7th, 2026. And today looks like a quiet day. And quiet days tell you things loud days can't. BuzzPulse scanned 37,000 stocks and 16,000 crypto tokens overnight. And exactly one name made it through the gate. One. That alone is information. When the system that's built to find anomalies finds almost nothing, it means the market is holding its breath. And it's holding its breath because Strait of Hormuz and the Fed makes its rate decision today. Everybody's sitting on their hands waiting for Powell and the Iranians. But there's one stock that nobody told to sit still, and that's Webull, ticker symbol BULL. And the social attention on this name today is statistically extreme. We'll get to it. We've also got a small cap nuclear story that just got a vote of confidence from a publicly traded Bitcoin miner. We've got a semiconductor ETF where retail traders are screaming, the sky is falling, while institutions are quietly buying the chip names underneath. And we've got Cardano lighting up the Lunar Crush leaderboard for no obvious reason, which in this business is usually the most interesting reason of all. Let's get into it. First, the room we're operating in. The VIX is sitting at 16.2, down almost 14% over the last 5 days. In plain English, the fear is gone. Volatility is compressed. The market is calm. That's normally a constructive backdrop for risk assets, but today it's deceptive because calm is a held breath. Jerome Powell speaks this afternoon, and you've got the thing going on in the Strait of Hormuz. So anything you put on this morning carries binary risk into that decision. Keep that in your back pocket as we go through the names. Now, the headline. The single name that cleared our momentum threshold today is Webull, ticker symbol BULL, the online brokerage, mid-cap equity, and the social attention number on this stock is, I'm going to say this carefully, the kind of number that you almost never see on a stock that isn't moving, a Z-score of 7.3. Let me put that into human terms. A Z-score is just a way of asking, how unusual is the conversation around this name compared to its normal baseline? 2 is elevated, 4 is rare, 7.3 is the kind of number you get when a company doubles overnight or gets accused of fraud. It's the volume of conversation you'd expect to see if something just happened. But here's the thing, nothing just happened. The stock is up 2.2% on the day. That's a normal Tuesday. The price action does not match the noise. So what are people actually saying? They're pitching it as the better Robinhood. That's the story. They're not naming it directly, but the conversation is positioning Webull as the superior alternative to a named competitor with significantly more upside. And that's a thesis I want you to pay attention to because relative value stories are different from hype. Hype dies in 12 hours. A thesis can run for weeks if it catches. Why? Because once people start comparing two companies on metrics, market cap, growth rate, user base, fees, and the comparison holds up, the conversation stops being about price and starts being about value, and that compounds. Here's where I have to be honest with you. This is a single layer signal today. No A+ conviction setup scored, no options activity confirming, no insider buying, no short interest data, no earnings within our window. The system flagged the noise on Webull, and the system didn't confirm the thesis. So here's the question you're probably thinking. Is this the early innings of a real revaluation, or is this a one-day social event that fades Friday? Here's how you'll know. Watch tomorrow's cycle. If the Z-score is still elevated and the price is followed, you're looking at something real. If the Z-score collapses back below 3, It was a story and the story didn't catch. Not telling you to buy it, just telling you the system flagged it loud, the thesis is interesting, and the next 24 hours decided which one this is. Now, the supporting tier. 2 more names, different shapes, both worth your time. The first one is IMSR. It's a small cap, $8.62, nuclear power. And here's why I want you to know about this one. IMSR just signed a memorandum of understanding with RIOT. RIOT is a publicly traded Bitcoin miner, real company, real balance sheet, and they're partnering with IMSR to build nuclear-powered AI data centers. Stop and think about that and what that sentence means. The single biggest bottleneck in the AI build-out right now is power. Not chips, not capital, power. The grid can't handle what's coming. Everybody knows it. And the companies that solve the power problem are the ones who get to actually build. So when you've got a smaller nuclear company signing a partnership with a real public company to specifically address that bottleneck, that's not a press release, that's a de-risking event. A bigger company just looked at the smaller company's tech and said, yes, we're tying our name to this. Now, is the system fully convinced? No. Single layer signal, no options data, no short interest. The story is real. The financial confirmation isn't there yet. What you want to see next is a follow-on announcements, actual capacity targets, real capital commitments, or insider buying that says management is putting their own money where the partnership is. Until then, the thesis is the partnership, and that's what's holding it up. The second one is the more interesting tell. SOXX, the Semiconductor ETF, $506.87. And here's where it gets a little weird. SOXX is lighting up our system with negative sentiment, a Z-score of 6.5. The conversation around this ETF is angry. Retail traders are convinced there's an AI financing crisis brewing and the banks are running out of capital, that the whole tech growth story is about to crack. They are bearish and they are loud about it. But look at the names inside the ETF. Micron, Taiwan Semi, the individual chip stocks, those are running elevated surges with positive sentiment. Money's flowing in and people are bullish. Read that again. Retail is panicking, posting about the sector. The names inside the sector are getting bought. That's what we call a divergence, and divergences are tells. When the ETF sentiment is bearish, but the components are bid, one side of that trade is wrong. And historically, it's almost always retail that's wrong, and it's almost always the institutions quietly rotating into the underlying names before the headlines catch up to them. I'm not telling you to buy semiconductors. I'm telling you that when you see this pattern, loud, bearish noise on the sector, quiet, bullish flows on the names, pay attention. The smart money doesn't announce itself. It rotates. And then 6 weeks later, somebody writes the headline that explains it. Now, before I read the watch list, the standard reminder, BuzzPulse is a research platform. I'm not your financial advisor. Nothing in this show is investment advice. The names you're about to hear are names the system flagged today. They're not buy recommendations. So please do your own work always. The watch list tells you where to look, and the greed list tells you where the trap is. Now here's the watch list. 3 names. Webull, the online brokerage being pitched as the better Robinhood with a Z-score of 7.3, loudest single name signal in the system today. The thesis is real, the financial confirmation is not. What changes is convictions. Options activity confirming, convergence depth deepening, or the Z-score holding into tomorrow's cycle. What kills it, Z-score collapsed below 3, and we know it was a one-day story. IMSR, the small cap nuclear company that just got partnered up by RIOT to power AI data centers. $8.62. The de-risking is real. The financial layers haven't caught up. What changes conviction? Follow-on capacity announcements, real capital commitments, or insider buying confirming management's belief. Now, third is Cardano, the crypto. Galaxy score of 73, alt rank 135. Lunar Crush is flagging strong community interest building, no price catalyst, no news, just sustained, elevated, organic attention. And here's why I want you to know about it. When a known crypto holds an elevated Galaxy score for days without a news cycle to explain it, that's often the community knowing something the headlines don't yet. It precedes announcements. It precedes upgrades. What changes conviction? Developer activity rising or staking participation accelerating. Now watch that. But here's the greed list, the name the system saw but didn't trust. RIOT, the Bitcoin miner that partnered up with IMSR. Yes, it shows up in our system with a Z-score of 2.24, but here's the problem. When one Bitcoin miner moves, they all move. And right behind RIOT, we've got IREN, another miner with a Z-score of 2.19, and CIFR, a third miner with a Z-score of 2.04. That's not Signal, that's a cluster, and they're all riding the same wave. The differentiated story today is IMSR. The partnership angle, the miners are just the wake behind the boat. Now we've got two meme coins, Pefe with a Z-score of 1.58 and Bonk, B-O-N-K, with a Z-score of 1.53. Lunar Crush sees the noise. The system did not confirm the thesis. Meme momentum without fundamental support fades inside a day, so we're skipping them. The watch list is the watch list, and the greed list is the warning. Now, looking ahead, the single most important thing on today's calendar is the FOMC rate decision. This afternoon, Jerome Powell speaks, markets move. If you're putting on positions this morning on any of today's names, you're taking a little bit of a binary risk into that decision. So size accordingly and don't be a hero in front of the Fed. Now, 6 days from now, May 13th, we get the April CPI inflation report. Secondary in importance, but it sets the tone for the next cycle of rate expectations. So keep it on your calendar. Now, everything you heard today was locked from BuzzPulse data as of 1 a.m. Pacific this morning. The Webull surge, the IMSR partnership, the Cardano Galaxy score, the miner cluster, all of it documented in real time before a single share traded. That's the discovery. We watch the noise so you can hear the signal. The rest is up to you. I'm Ken Carpenter. This is Invest AI Savvy, and that's the way it is.